Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Montgomery County Council. This is a public hearing for the council tonight to receive testimony on the Thrive Montgomery 2050 Planning Board draft. This plan will amend the 1969 General Plan, which was titled On Wedges and Corridors, General Plan for the Maryland-Washington Regional District in Montgomery County, and the 1993 General Plan refinement of the goals and objectives for Montgomery County. Thrive Montgomery 2050 encompasses broad countywide policy recommendations for land use, housing, the economy, equity, transportation, parks and open space, the environment, historic resources, urban design, and arts and culture. These recommendations are intended to guide future master plans, county and state capital improvement processes, and other public and private initiatives that influence land use planning in Montgomery County. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on July 9th. Each individual will have 2 minutes to speak. Individuals will be alerted as they approach their 2 minutes and may be disconnected. I'll just add that this draft reflects a tremendous amount of hard work by the Planning Commission and their staff, as well as an enormous amount of public input. So I'm grateful to all the commissioners, to the planning staff, and really to all of you who participated in public workshops and meetings about the plan, as well as to all of you who have written to us and who will testify tonight and at future hearings. In a county of over 1 million people, we won't achieve consensus on every single element of this plan. But I want to assure everyone tonight that we want to hear from you. We want to hear your views and your best ideas. We want to incorporate them, and we want to work toward a shared understanding of the common good and build toward as much consensus as possible. It's my firm belief that we make much better policy when we hear from as many individuals as possible. So my colleagues and I are all eager to hear from you first tonight and at additional hearings as we move forward. Ms. Kennedy, would you mind calling on the first speaker?
Good evening. Yes, our first speaker this evening will be Meredith Wellington. Ms. Wellington, you have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin as soon as you're ready.
I think you need to, there I am. Great, thank you. Meredith Wellington for the County Executive. The County Executive thanks the County Council and asks, however, that the Council reconsider its 2-minute speaking limit as not a sufficient amount of time for residents to testify meaningfully. I am summarizing just a few points that the County Executive made in his letter that he sent to you all last week. Montgomery County residents are confused about Thrive Montgomery 2050 as they grapple with changing concepts of missing middle housing and attainable housing and complex rezoning proposals that will make sweeping changes to their neighborhoods. Hundreds of thousands of county homeowners have absolutely no idea what the Attainable Housing Strategies Initiative is, how it relates to Thrive, or what is likely to happen to their properties in the next few months if complicated rezoning proposals are enacted. Please ask the Planning Board to stop work on these rezoning proposals that would implement Thrive Montgomery before the plan has ever even been approved. The general plan calls for bold thinking about our future. Please include a recommendation to investigate reform of the development review process, to consider making it one process under one agency. Equity. Thrive's primary housing proposal for missing middle housing won't accomplish the plan's fundamental equity objective to provide housing that facilitates the integration of neighborhoods by race and income, because missing middle housing is not affordable to the equity groups Thrive seeks to serve. According to a planning study, the most affordable missing middle housing in Silver Spring would be a townhouse that costs over $700,000. More needs to be done. The county's first priority for economic development must be jobs to revitalize our centers and to create new centers, all located near high-quality transit. Thrive's recommendation to spread our limited CIP funds over 32 centers and 11 corridors without regard to transit is contrary to our future economic success.
Ms. Wellington,
Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next speaker is Casey Anderson. Mr. Anderson, you also have 2 minutes, and you may begin as soon as you're ready.
Hi there. 2 minutes is not much time to address many of the mischaracterizations that have been made about this plan, particularly by the county executive. I'll start with the idea that Ms. Wellington just advanced about the idea that something is going to happen to people's properties in the next few months as a result of this plan. Nothing will happen to anyone's property as a result of this plan in the next few months. In fact, the whole point of this plan is to establish a broad framework for future planning activities, including missing middle housing. Secondly, if the county executive has a proposal for streamlining development review, we're all ears. If they would like to transfer the Department of Permitting Services to the Planning Department, we're certainly open to that possibility. Third, the idea that residents are confused about the relationship between the Attainable Housing Initiative and this plan is largely the product of the fact that the county executive staff has continued to mischaracterize the relationship between these two documents. The county council has asked the planning board and department to address attainable housing, including missing middle housing and a potential ZTA, as part of its regular work. We intend to advance the general plan and follow that with work on an attainable housing initiative, which could result in zoning changes depending on what you decide based on our recommendations and other public input. The last thing I'll say is that the idea that there has been inadequate public input for this plan is simply false. The Thrive Montgomery plan has taken place over the course of the last 2 years. It has involved over 170 public meetings, including 4 meetings with the Civic Federation alone, and 85 people testified at the planning board. You're going to hear from 50, 60, 70 people. I'm not sure what the total is tonight. So the idea that this has been anything less than a fulsome and entirely open public process, I submit to you, is simply not accurate. I look forward to working with all of you at the work sessions, both at the Fed Committee and the full council, and I'll leave it at that for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker this evening is Barney Rush. Mr. Rush, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Get myself. Okay. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Barney Rush. I'm the mayor of the town of Chevy Chase. Our town is a member of the Thrive Montgomery 2050 Neighborhood Coalition. The coalition, consisting of more than 25 communities across the county, will provide you with a formal letter proposing 7 critical modifications to the Thrive General Plan draft. Tonight, I will focus my remarks on a few of the key changes that we recommend. First, the county should continue to use the master and sector planning processes as the vehicle for change. Thrive anticipates higher density development in single-family residential communities. What must be avoided is a new county-wide zoning ordinance that leaves residents with only the binary choice of opposing any change or accepting a large-scale change in housing forms. Residents have a continuum of views, and many accept some additional density in their neighborhoods. But it is a matter of degree, and the degree matters. Finding the right balance for a given area cannot be done with a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, a carefully considered local solution focused on the street patterns and existing density of the area and incorporating active engagement with residents will have the best chance of attracting the broad support that fundamental change requires. Also, such a local approach will be best suited to tailor incentives to retain and refurbish existing attainable and affordable housing. Second, robust funding methods are required to finance the proper level of infrastructure needed to attain Thrive's vision of complete communities. Where will the funds be found for the added pedestrian, bicycle, bus rapid transit, stormwater, and school infrastructure projects? And how will such costs be shared? This issue could also be addressed in large part in conjunction with master and sector plan process. Third, the underpinning for achievement of all these goals will be sustained job creation, and economic growth. This too must be a focal point of our new general plan. Please fix the draft plan and ensure that it sets out a strategy for economic growth, includes sound financial planning for required infrastructure, and uses the master and sector planning processes as the means of instituting zoning changes. Thank you very much for your consideration. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Jeffrey Slavin. Mr. Slavin, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready.
Good evening, Jeffrey Slavin here, Mayor of the town of Somerset. I'm speaking tonight in my personal capacity. Our council has 3 newly elected members, a majority, and all of them are still in the info gathering stage. And I'm sure they will be weighing in on this important topic in the coming months. I want to voice my strong support for the united position of the Thrive 2050 Neighborhood Coalition, as discussed by Mayor Rush before me and later tonight by many others, in particular the representatives from the CCCFH. Having been in office for almost 2 decades and being impressed with the work of the coalition and the engagement of community leaders and others, I do think that the unified position is supported by the vast majority of the thousands of residents in our part of the county. I do want to stress that the proposed modifications to the draft are designed to deal with environmental and traffic issues, the lack of multi-price point housing, and most importantly, the value that the county government places on establishing rigid requirements for citizen participation in decisions. I want to also stress that these proposed modifications have been written with a clear racial equity lens. It is my strong belief that the vast majority of the residents in the Bethesda-Chevy Chase region are prepared to welcome future neighbors from every economic circumstance and every demographic category. Finally, I want to preview the testimony of one of my heroes, former Chevy Chase Village Councilmember Julie Davis, who will focus on the need for new zoning provisions that ensure that the attainable housing types be compatible with the existing homes in those neighborhoods. Because, as she will conclude, by incorporating these compatibility requirements in the approval process for locating multifamily housing in single-family areas, then the county will be able to overcome any overwhelming community resistance. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Denise Quara. Ms. Quara, you have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Thank you. Good evening, Montgomery County Council. My name is Denise Quara, Maryland Conservation Advocate for Audubon Naturalist Society. For 124 years, ANS has inspired people to enjoy, learn about, and protect nature. We thank the Montgomery County Council for the opportunity to testify tonight. And we have submitted a full copy of our written comments before tonight's public hearing. ANS will like the County Council to consider and balance trade-offs of urbanism and environmental protection as you review and revise the county's new general master plan. The County Council should also ensure that both climate change and Black, Indigenous, people of color, and individuals are centered in the final versions of the general plan. Overall, our policy recommendations are that the general plan works in harmony with the county's climate action plan. As it stands right now, the Thrive Plan misses the opportunity to highlight the urgent need to include stronger climate change policies, such as adding a no net loss of forests policy, a net zero buildings policy, renewable energy siting policy, and stronger stormwater management policies. Although ANS supports Thrive's 15-minute living urban policy recommendation and supports building high-density housing centered around transit corridors, we continue to emphasize the need to pair up urbanism with sustainable protection to our existing natural environment to build for a climate-resilient future. For example, when building high-density transit-friendly housing, we can keep the same lot coverage requirements while allowing for more units in the same footprint to decrease stormwater runoff and pair it up with green infrastructure. We thank the Council for considering our comments and suggestions and look forward to working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Herb Simmons. Mr. Simmons, you have 2 minutes for your testimony and you may begin.
Thank you very much.
I think you're frozen. So if you turn off your video, we may be able to hear your audio. Are you there, Miss? Are you there?
I am there.
Okay, yeah, you froze. So let's see if we can just do it without video. Sometimes that helps.
Okay.
Okay, go right ahead.
Let me start. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yes, I'm Herb Simmons from the Climate Mobilization We presented some 30 recommendations to the planning board on Thrive, most of which are still unaddressed, so we're here tonight. You know, it's not an exaggeration to say what we do, and by we, I mean everybody on the planet, in the next 10 years will determine the future of humanity for the next 10,000 years. It's startling, but it's true. But using that standard, our conclusion is that Thrive presents an incremental response when we need a transformative vision of the future. Thrive lacks guidance on how the county can address the likely calamitous impacts of climate breakdown, particularly the immense immigration the county can expect to receive, as well as other myriad shocks. Eco anxiety, which if you talk to young people is everywhere, is utterly ignored. No alternative scenarios for the future of the county are presented. Few of any numerical targets or indicators are included, and the planetary ecological emergency is all but ignored. But at TCM, we have a bold vision we'd like to take a few seconds to present, and that is that we ask that you consider and work on creating what we're calling a World Climate Center in the less advantaged eastern portion of the county that would generate climate knowledge, revitalize the county economy, and address social and racial justice. It has 4 major components: a newly chartered National Institute of Climate. There is no federal central location for climate the way there is at the NIH and others. We need that. It belongs here in Montgomery County. A new and transformative Climate University of America to integrate the knowledge and educate our young people. An innovative, what I call a climatarium, kind of like a planetarium for the public. Millions of visitors to learn about climate, all surrounded by hundreds of new businesses focused on climate, so that we have life sciences in the West and we have climate in the East. That would be a truly transformative legacy that you have the power to begin to set in motion. We'd love to work with you and partner with you and with Thrive and Montgomery Planning on basically having a proactive response to the climate crisis that we're facing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simmons. Our next speaker is Ryan Hardy. Mr. Hardy, you have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Thank you, members of the council, for the opportunity to comment on this draft of Thrive Montgomery 2050. So I'm Ryan Hardy. I live in Silver Spring and I also work there. But before that, I've lived in the Boston, Orlando, and Denver metro areas, all entirely without a car. So I've experienced the best and worst American urban planning can offer someone without a vehicle, and the unforgiving consequences of sprawl are unfortunately all too real to me. My worst experiences have left me wishing that planners decades earlier had embraced compact, transit-friendly planning, so my destinations would be closer and more safely accessible. So with the opportunity to help steer the course of the next 30 years where I now call home, I wholeheartedly support this draft of Thrive Montgomery 2050. Thrive rejects sprawl and recognizes the value of walkable communities connected by transit. It's all about bringing people physically closer to meaningful destinations. As a resident of downtown Silver Spring, I'm already sort of living this ideal. I can get to work, a doctor's appointment, a restaurant, a movie, a park, all within a 10 to 15-minute walk. I could also hop on the Red Line and visit dozens of other centers of activity throughout in this region in under an hour. More people, regardless of income, deserve this quality of life. And Thrive recognizes that the key to making more of these communities lies in maximizing opportunities for people to actually live near transit. Thrive further recognizes that transit corridors should be the backbone of economically inclusive communities. When people live close to the transit, jobs, and amenities, they have a more level economic playing field. They have fewer reasons to drive and are less likely to need a second or even a first vehicle. On a macro scale, it's less VMT, fewer emissions, less space wasted on parking, and safer roads overall. On an individual level, this means more money in a household's pocket. So in my view, compact corridor-focused growth is the way to go, and I hope the council ultimately does support this plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is David Barnes. Mr. Barnes, you have 2 minutes. You may begin when you're ready.
All right. Oh, thank you. Hi, my name is David Barnes. I'm the president of the Edgemoor Citizens Association, a group of over 500 households in the residential neighborhood bordering the west side of downtown Bethesda. And we're also part of the Thrive Montgomery 2050 Neighborhood Coalition. I want to speak briefly about Thrive's attainable housing strategy. The original Thrive Issues Report described achieving community equity through greater access to affordable housing in the low to mid price range. This is somehow morphed into what's now called the attainable housing, which seems to mean increasing density in residential neighborhoods, regardless of the price of the resulting new housing, the differing outcomes in different neighborhoods, the structural capacity of those neighborhoods to support the additional density, or the effects on the residents of those neighborhoods. This obsession with densifying single-family neighborhoods has led to simplistic, one-size-fits-all policy proposals that don't account for local conditions and needs, don't have community buy-in, and overlook real opportunities to create housing that is affordable to those who need it. I and others in the coalition have suggested better ways to retain and increase the county supply of affordable housing, rather than enriching developers and creating homes priced out of the reach of most buyers. This includes preserving older housing stock instead of allowing it to be torn down. We're ready to support housing policy changes that are made within the master and sector plan process that produce more low to moderately priced housing and that minimize the negative impacts on affected communities. But we won't support poorly thought out ZTAs that neither acknowledge nor address their unintended consequences. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker this evening is Patricia Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you have 2 minutes for your testimony and you may begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. My name is Patricia Johnson. I'm a member of the Kenwood Committee for Smart Growth. I support the position stated in the letters from the County Executive and the Thrive Coalition. We are in favor of and recognize the need for affordable housing. However, the housing described in Thrive 2050 will not be affordable. It will not be attainable for most. It will be at market price because land near transit is expensive. It will harm established communities with incompatible structures built from a pattern book of massing and setback choices. We must mandate that the use of traditional master and sector planning processes that are already in place be used to specify zoning changes. The concept of compatibility is fundamental to our county zoning codes and preserves the quality of life in compact neighborhoods. Standards cannot be picked out of a pattern book with choice left to a developer without notice or review by neighborhoods. A process should be in place that requires community input and participation. That process should include decision makers that listen to their citizens. Processes are already in place to facilitate this. A county as large and diverse as ours cannot be subject to a pattern book of building standards as a one-size-fits-all solution. Thrive Montgomery is a developer's dream. The citizens are being left out of the decision-making process. A stated goal that Thrive hopes to create is economic competitiveness through condensed, complete communities, but the plan doesn't describe job creation and growth. Montgomery County has fallen behind with flat job growth over the past 15 years. We don't need 40,000 more homes if no one is moving here to go to work. Young people aren't moving to the area because the jobs are better elsewhere. Projections claim that a large portion of residents will be earning less than $50,000 per year by 2040. We should have incentives to attract business. Just building more houses won't bring better wages to pay mortgages or rents. In fact, without job incentives, very little housing will be needed. Montgomery County has to attract better jobs, better wages, then housing will be attainable and affordable. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker this evening is Jane Lyons. Ms. Lyons, you also have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Good evening. My name is Jane Lyons and I'm testifying on behalf of the Coalition for Smarter Growth. We strongly support the Planning Board's draft of Thrive 2050, which is what we're here tonight to discuss, not the Planning Department's Housing Strategies Initiative. And we urge you to further strengthen certain areas of Thrive as detailed in our submitted written testimony. Thrive creates a vital blueprint for a county that is more affordable, walkable, prosperous, resilient, and racially and economically integrated, and recognizes that the best way to achieve that vision is through embracing the principles of inclusive smart growth, urbanism, and equitable transit-oriented development. Thrive 2050 provides a framework for Montgomery County's planning to respond to the times and use growth as a tool to meet our collective goals and improve everyone's quality of life. This is an opportunity to jumpstart our economy, to allow more people to decrease their carbon footprints by expanding housing opportunities in our many walkable, amenity-rich neighborhoods, an opportunity to changing demographics by making it easier to age in place and for households to downsize, and to undo our entrenched racial and economic segregation. The fingerprints of the original On Wedges and Corridors plan can be seen in every land use, transportation, housing decision since 1969, for better or worse. For example, the fact that US 29 was not included as a growth corridor and no east-west corridors were selected either exacerbated our stark east-west economic divide. Similarly, the decisions you will make in this document will have generational implications for how we live, work, and play. The world in 2050 will be very different. The question is whether we allow our communities to evolve in order to preserve what we value the most: diversity, sustainability, affordability, prosperity, equity, and social mobility. Please refer to our written comments for our full testimony that gets in depth even more to Thrive, and thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you for your testimony. Next, we have Seth Grimes. Mr. Grimes, you have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Thank you. I'm Seth Grimes. I like the Thrive Montgomery 2050 initiative and appreciate Montgomery Planning's work to bring us to this point. I support bold steps to create new housing, commercial opportunities, and amenities, particularly in areas well served by transit, such as Tacoma Park, Silver Spring, Somerset, and Chevy Chase, via upzoning, steps to promote walkable, bikeable neighborhoods and corridor commercial centers, and prioritization of equity and environmental concerns. Beyond this, I'll address just 2 points. One is quick. I regret the omission in the final text, unless I missed something, of explicit discussion of development parking minimums. Excess parking imposes costs on tenants, adds to building footprint and bulk, and leads to driving at the expense of transit use, walking, and biking. Can you find a way to address this? I'll start my second point with an excerpt from page 27. The 1964 plan envisioned corridor cities along I-270, I-95, and Route 29, yet subsequent planning efforts disregarded and ultimately removed the growth corridor along Route 29. This directed new public and private investment away from East County toward the established urban ring and I-270 corridor. This recurring pattern of aggravated the racial and economic disparities between the eastern and western parts of the county that remain today. And I did not coordinate that with Jane Lyons. I see shadows of this error in the draft before us, which does not classify Southeast County areas such as Long Branch and Tacoma-Langley Crossroads as growth centers as they should be classified. These are border areas, heavily immigrant and moderate income, yet this plan neglects them, just as the 1964 plan neglected East County. Growth in those areas isn't easy. Cooperation with Prince George's County would be required, yet equity and the interests of all county residents, including an overdeveloped Bethesda, say that attention is imperative. We must set the stage for strong execution on our growth, equity, and environmental ideals. Please do what you can to address this omission. Thanks for the opportunity to testify this evening.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker tonight is Dr. Troy Jacobs. Dr. Jacobs, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready. Okay, you need to unmute. There you go. Great.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can. Thank you.
Beautiful. Good evening. I'm Dr. Troy Jacobs. I'm a pediatrician. I'm a member of the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, and a proud resident of the Tacoma Park, Long Branch area of this county. I'm speaking tonight in support of Thrive 2050. For more than 20 years, I have seen that the most powerful interventions for addressing some of our really most challenging health problems of our children, whether we're talking about childhood obesity, asthma, mental illness, injuries, violence, a number of adverse child experiences with lifelong impact, are not necessarily addressed by medicines or vaccines, but really interventions that are articulated in this plan with safe spaces and parks, more housing for all, development around Purple Line and transit opportunities like that, the so-called built environment. Evidence from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, and others shows that really to have or create a vibrant, connected communities, this is really what makes the most sense for our children, and for us. So if we are wanting to make a true culture of health, addressing health in a meaningful, concrete way, this plan moves Montgomery County in the right direction. It is a work in progress, I will admit. I am hopeful that we can make Thrive 2050 a reality. We can use health impact assessments and other such tools to refine and maximize racial equity considerations in the framework. I see opportunities in the current plan to expand the linkages to health and well-being, particularly for our children and youth. Working together with this framework, we can strengthen these linkages for Montgomery County's future. Thank you again for the opportunity to talk tonight, and I look forward to working with you and others on this plan going forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Davidoff. Davidoff, you have 2 minutes, and you may begin when you're ready.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Kate Davidoff. I have a PhD in urban planning, and I've worked in affordable housing for the last 15 years. My husband and I bought a house in Silver Spring in 2018, and we have 2 small children. I support the planning board draft of Thrive 2050, and I urge the council to maintain its vision for a county that is both sustainable and inclusive. When I first moved to Silver Spring, I was impressed by its vibrancy and diversity. I would like to see this community continue to grow in a way that supports these values. The best way to do that is to build more housing, more income-restricted affordable housing units, more permanent supportive housing, more ADUs, more multifamily housing, more housing. Cost is the greatest barrier to living here, particularly if you're looking to purchase a home. The median house price for a single detached family home in Montgomery County in 2020 was $775,000. That puts homeownership well out of reach for many individuals and families, the vast majority of whom are people of color. Racial and economic segregation are synonymous with housing segregation. To address the former, we must address the latter. Thrive 2050 does include provisions that would move Montgomery County towards a more integrated future, but the plan could go further in identifying ways that the current zoning laws favor single-family homes over other more affordable types of residential developments. Adding more homes of all types in county population centers and along major corridors will make cost less of a barrier to living here and invite more people from more diverse backgrounds to contribute to our community. Rather than diluting or weakening the unique aspects that make Montgomery County so special, building more affordable housing would strengthen them. It would improve racial equity in housing and allow the county to truly live up to the progressive values of its residents. That's why I urge the council to make affordable housing a key part of the implementation of Thrive 2050. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Benjamin Bradley. Mr. Bradley, you also have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Thank you for allowing me the time to address you tonight. I am here to express my strong support for Thrive 2050 and urge you to do the same. I am a renter in downtown Silver Spring, where I've lived since 2012. Thrive 2050 is a blueprint for our community to continue into the future. It responds to concerning trends in the county, including the climate crisis, a net loss of younger adults living in the county, and lagging growth across a variety of other metrics. Thrive provides tools and a vision for systematic transformation that addresses these challenges. I support Thrive because it centers racial equity. I have become more aware of the county's history and its policies regarding land use over the past year, especially housing policy. I've learned about Francis Newland's and his overtly racist policies and practices in the communities in Montgomery County, such as Chevy Chase. These practices and other policies like redlining echo into our present in our existing exclusionary zoning. I refer you to my written testimony about that history. Earlier this year, in front of you, the County Council, a number of members of our community, and even the County Executive, publicly opposed anti-racist policy intended to dismantle exclusionary zoning in parts of the county. While Thrive does not end exclusionary zoning itself, it is an essential first step. To dismantle systemic racist and classist segregation, the county needs to begin with adopting this general plan. Thrive provides a vision for a greener, healthier county. While I hope to see the council move above and beyond the recommendations of Thrive, it provides a compelling vision, emphasizing development that creates communities that are not car dependent and promotes public transit, biking, and walking. These complete communities help the county protect, promote, and create green spaces while promoting healthier, active lifestyles. Thank you again, and I hope to see you, the council, supporting Thrive 2050.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Michael English. Mr. English, you have 2 minutes for your testimony. You may begin.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the council for hearing my testimony and accepting my written testimony, which I'll also refer them to. I would also like to express my enthusiastic support for Thrive and encourage the council to support it. I've lived in Montgomery County for 9 years now, and I truly can't see myself living anywhere else so long as I have a say in it. And that's just it. I've been lucky. Barring a drastic change in my situation, I should be okay. But I'm very much the exception, not the rule. Even people who make a decent wage here are finding it hard to afford a place to live. It's true that the deepest need is at the lowest income levels, and that subsidized income restricted housing, social housing, moderately priced dwelling units, and other measures will need to be implemented and or expanded to tackle that. And Thrive outlines strategies to increase this type of housing as well. However, we also have a widespread middle income housing affordability problem, and many of the principles Thrive lays out can do a lot to improve that situation. While rents have flattened a bit in the wake of the pandemic, this is likely to be a temporary reprieve at an already high price. Moreover, the median home sales price is over $500,000 in the county and over $700,000 if you count only detached single-family homes. Simply put, it is becoming harder and harder for people to move or stay here, hurting the quality of life of county residents and its economic vitality. We need smaller, cheaper options for these smaller households making up more and more of our county. While it is true that Thrive will not change any zoning directly, it will set the guidelines and overall approach to be carried out by various local sector plans that will. So the decision before the council is tremendously important. By setting the ambition to allow denser development in more places, especially around transit, we can help bring housing costs down both directly by increasing supply and perhaps more importantly, by providing more housing options that can serve more household types more cheaply, while also helping free up supply indirectly at various price points. Our county has a progressive reputation, and it's one that I'm proud of. But for too long, we have allowed people to protect outdated, harmful, conservative land use that perpetuates the harmful impacts of past redlining and other racist measures through economic segregation, while not challenging these people on how this is inconsistent with their progressive principles. Thrive is a welcome shift in that regard and deserves our full-throated support.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is James Hedrick. Mr. Hedrick, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready.
All right, thank you, and good evening. As you said, I'm James Hedrick. I'm here tonight as the Vice President and Land Use Committee Chair for the Action Committee for Transit. I'm here tonight in support of approval and even expansion of the Planning Commission's draft for Thrive 2050. First, the Planning Commission really ought to be commended for producing a plan that really embraces transit and a nice, sustainable, inclusive model of urbanism. So this Thrive draft really envisions a county where we focus on moving people and not just cars, and using the transit assets that we have, like Metro Rail Ride on Mark, and the transit assets that we will have, like the Purple Line, Bus Rapid Transit, as well as things that they put in the plan, like interconnected bike and pedestrian systems. These are all great. We think the plan could go even further, though, and that's what we'd like to see. Language specifically encouraging policies like more frequent transit service to make lines more reliable, or eliminating unproductive policies like parking minimums. But really the thing I want to mention is that we will realize none of the promises of Thrive 2050 if we do not adjust our land use needs to the realities of 2021, much less 2050 in the future. Almost half of the land in our county excludes anything but single family housing. We have thousands of acres, tens of thousands of acres within walking distance of transit that exclude anything but detached single family homes. If we don't make a change and allow more housing to be built near jobs and we will never fulfill the equity, economic, and environmental promises of Thrive 2050. Obviously, as Mike mentioned just before me, implementing the general plan will come through land use changes following Thrive's adoption, but we would really like to see the Thrive 2050 plan include language that makes ending exclusionary zoning a county land use priority. We really need to go as far and as fast on this as we can. So the question before the council really becomes whether to embrace equity and the enrichment of our communities or cling to policies of exclusion and privilege. So I hope you make the right decision. I hope you support the adoption and even expansion of the Planning Commission's Thrive 2050 draft. And I really appreciate letting me come out tonight. I'll end it there.
Thanks for your testimony. Our next speaker is Zach Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein, you have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Zach Weinstein, and I rent in downtown Silver Spring. I strongly support Thrive 2050, especially its commitment to expanding housing and transport options. I moved to downtown Silver Spring as a recent graduate because Silver Spring offered plentiful housing choices and easy access to DC. I believe this plan will make it possible for future generations of recent graduates to enjoy the same benefits I did and more. One area where this plan falls short is its acceptance of parking minimums. Parking minimums serve as a de facto subsidy that undermines our environmental, transit, and housing goals. Parking minimums harm our environmental goals by generating more pavement. They discourage transit use by offering free or below market rate private vehicle storage, and they artificially inflate housing prices by adding thousands of dollars to the cost of projects. Thrive 2050 only mentions parking minimums in an appendix, and even then only advocates removing minimums in downtown. We should eliminate parking minimums county-wide. Note that I am not advocating banning parking. Whatever the market provides is fine, but there is no societal goal served by the government requiring developers and businesses to provide parking. I admire the plan's commitment to sustainable transport, however. The plan rightly emphasizes buses, biking, and walking as critical to the county's prosperity and health. Thrive 2050 is truly visionary in its call to build no new highways and cease widening roads. We have all the road capacity we need, and any further investment in moving cars will distract the county from more efficient modes of transport. I would like to see the plan double down on frequent transit, since frequency is a primary driver of usability, but this plan outlines amazing transit goals. I strongly encourage the Council to approve Thrive 2050. It provides a great foundation for sustainable, equitable, and prosperous growth. I look forward to seeing Montgomery County capitalize on this incredible vision. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker tonight is Sunil Dasgupta. Mr. Dasgupta, you have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin when you're ready.
Good evening. My name is Sunil Dasgupta. We have a major housing shortage in the Washington metropolitan area, and Montgomery County is a big part of the problem. Thrive 2050 is the beginning of what the county must do to increase the supply of housing. We are in a regulatory failure rooted in zoning laws that have created artificial shortages of homes and of land. This failure has sent home prices skyrocketing for over 2 generations now, allowing existing homeowners to enjoy unprecedented capital gains while worsening suburban sprawl. There are many solutions here, including climate action, but you must start with changing the zoning law, in particular, exclusive single-family home zoning that has governed suburban growth since the New Deal. Rather than allowing demand to determine the type of housing built, a regulatory mechanism designed to be exclusive has produced the bulk of our housing. Policies, even exclusionary ones, create their own stakeholders who fight to defend their privileges. This has clearly happened with single-family homes, and it explains why suburban counties like Montgomery find themselves with aging populations and economic stasis. It's a wealth trap where high home prices keep many residents happy, but growth becomes hard to achieve because new energy, immigrants, and younger people cannot participate. The question before the county is what you're going to do. I urge you to push for change, support Thrive 2050, and take zoning action immediately thereafter to make the regulatory mechanism work for the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Ellen Sands. Ms. Sands, you have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin.
Thank you. I have 2 points to make. Planning processes should begin by charting big picture aspirational goals. Thus, there's little to fault and much to applaud in the broad Thrive 2050 plan. But it should be setting the stage for subsequent, more nuanced responses to pressing housing, transportation, and infrastructure planning, not carried out simultaneously with targeted sector planning and housing initiatives, as is now occurring. As a resident of Woodside, I and my neighbors are dealing concurrently with Thrive, the Attainable Housing Strategies Initiative, the Heat Group recommendations, and the Silver Spring Downtown and Adjacent Communities Plan, which seeks to expand the downtown boundaries and rezone an historically designated portion of our neighborhood despite the current downtown's 20% office vacancy rate. The planning board won't divulge what the new zoning designation might be, despite the fact that if the attainable housing recommendations are adopted, the entire neighborhood would already be subject to much denser housing. So why the need for this further rezoning, especially since over 1/4 of Woodside is townhomes and another quarter consists of small lots under 5,000 square feet? And then we're disparaged for questioning a change no one will actually define. Which brings me to my second point. The residents of many of these close-in communities most impacted by these simultaneous planning efforts aren't holdouts or relics. We are, in fact, the early adopters. While previous councils built the Soccerplex in Germantown and encouraged suburban-style sprawl in places like Clarksburg, we chose to live close in small homes on small lots, able to walk, not just to transit, but to stores, places of worship and civic gathering, and schools, which we then worked hard to support. We invested not just in a home, but in a way of living, the merits of which you all now, 30 years later, are waking up to. We've long been allies to this and previous councils on topics of smart growth, transportation, and housing. We look forward to continuing to partner with our elected officials, but we need clear goals and a fair process. This multi-pronged, scattershot approach is an egregious breach of process, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Gray Kimbro. Gray, you have 2 minutes for your testimony and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Gray Kimbro. I've been listening to many of my Montgomery County neighbors speak tonight and at previous hearings. I'd like to take a bit of time to talk about something that would make my kids giggle. Let's talk about butts. Okay? We've heard from many people who say that they want affordable housing, but they want racial equity, but they care about the environment and climate change, but they understand there's a housing crisis, but. And I'd like to say, let's get these buts out of here. Let's be in favor of transit-oriented development and affordable housing and racial equity and addressing the impacts of climate change. Let's implement all of the policies proposed in Thrive 2050 and more. We start from a position of saying but to everything. We are not really supporting all of the policies that our county needs to thrive in the coming decades. Let's cut the buts and start taking seriously our commitment to racial equity, generational equity, and ending exclusionary policies. Thrive 2050 is a great starting point to give us more livable communities in Montgomery County. Let's implement it and more, and stop listening to all of the buts. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your support of Thrive 2050.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker tonight is Michael Dutka. Mr. Dutka, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. I strongly support Thrive 2050. The goals outlined embrace a compact, dense pattern of development, which reduces vehicles miles traveled, makes providing mass transit easier, creates a safer pedestrian environment, and reduces greenhouse gases. Those are all worthy goals. To implement or to bring to fruition some of the equity goals in Thrives, I think we'll need to immediately implement lots of rezoning, which addresses our large amounts of single-family zoning. I believe over 90% of the land in the county that's available for residential development is zoned for large lot, detached, single-family zoning. Large amounts of this form of zoning creates an overabundance of large single-family homes and an underabundance of multifamily housing. This reduces cost for single-family homeowners and raises cost for renters in multifamily buildings. Is that our priority as a progressive county? Large amounts of single-family zoning also creates economic segregation. You can say all the big houses go here and all the small ones go here, instant segregation. In fact, that was the entire point of different residential zones initially. They had a whole Supreme Court about this. Let's get out of that game entirely and address that problem here in Montgomery County, and let's implement the goals of Thrive 2050. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker this evening is Jennifer Cook. Ms. Cook, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Cook, and I live in downtown Silver Spring. I strongly support Thrive 2050 and urge you to maintain its vision for a sustainable, inclusive county. I especially appreciate the focus on public spaces as a central element of the community where neighbors can come together and to encourage active lifestyles. I live in a one-bedroom apartment, so I love using the public spaces in Silver Spring to get fresh air and meet with friends. I believe residents would benefit greatly from a network of inclusive and safe public parks, trails, and recreational spaces. But I hope the plan considers just how accessible these spaces will be for all residents. Today, the county has many parks and public spaces, and while the spaces themselves are great, there often aren't enough safe roads and sidewalks for pedestrians and cyclists to get to these spaces, making parks and trails inaccessible to so many residents. This is a much bigger problem for residents with disabilities and parents using strollers, since narrow, uneven sidewalks and wide intersections can make it impossible for residents to get to public spaces. Even if they are nearby, so many parks require crossing busy and dangerous streets. There have been too many recent instances of pedestrians getting struck and killed by a driver while crossing local streets. I hope the council considers how Thrive 2050 can help protect Montgomery County residents and make pedestrian safety a priority. In conclusion, I urge you to support Thrive 2050 to make Montgomery County a more accessible community for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker tonight is Ron Bosamilik. Mr. Bosamilik, could you please unmute and begin your testimony? You have 2 minutes.
Hi, and thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Ron Bosamilik, and I live in Bethesda. For all of human history, cities have developed in a pretty predictable pattern. They started as a collection of low-density huts and shacks that were clustered together, and as the land value went up, so did the height and density of those buildings. The buildings and regulations were adaptable to the changes in the economy and the society in which they were built. As it became expensive to build in city center, low-density development would occur on the outer ring of the city, and this process would start all over again, eventually transforming into high-density cities. All of a sudden, sometime in the 1960s, we decided we're going to stop this historically successful, adaptable process of urbanization and instead lock in land use patterns that can never change. Here we have single-family houses, and for all of eternity, nothing can be built on this land except even larger single-family houses. It can never graduate to the next level. It can't be overstated how economically, socially, and environmentally destructive this idea has been. We restrict increasing supply of houses so prices skyrocket and only older incumbents benefit. With minimum lot sizes, height and parking minimums, setbacks, and zoning, we segregate ourselves based on income. By forcing everyone to live so far apart, even the most mundane daily tasks require a drive, we cause emissions to skyrocket. Let's get back to allowing everyday people to take small risks for the benefit of society. Let a homeowner profit from their land by converting it into an owner-occupied duplex. Let a neighbor take a risk and open a small coffee shop in a neighborhood. Let's let land develop naturally and dynamically instead of strictly locking it in place for the benefit of a few conservatives who want nothing to change. I support Thrive 2050, but believe it needs to go much further. Duplexes, triplexes, and townhouses need to be legalized countywide by right. Low-density commercial needs to be legalized so small-scale entrepreneurs can start a business. Let's have a bottom-up revolution so prosperity is broad-based. If this county wants to attract jobs and families and young professionals such as myself, it needs to build and adapt to the times. If we simply let land develop more naturally and dynamically, a huge amount of issues such as economic stratification, carbon emissions, and housing prices would largely solve themselves. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope the council votes in favor of Thrive 2050.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker tonight is Paul Meyer, but I don't see Paul, I see a Marnie Meyer.
It's my wife's computer. So.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, Mr. Meyer, you may begin.
Hello, my name is Paul Meyer. I reside in South Silver Spring with my wife and my almost 2-year-old son. Making the world a better place for my family is always at the top of my mind. Because of this, I am testifying in favor of the Planning Board's draft Thrive 2050 plan. I urge you to support this plan for a more inclusive, sustainable Montgomery County. Thrive 2050 reflects the fact that Montgomery County is no longer a suburban bedroom community. It's no longer acceptable to have 1950s-style land use. Instead, Thrive 2050 ensures that all Montgomery County residents have equitable access to attainable housing, opportunities for physical activity, parks and open spaces, employment, education, and a variety of travel options. The way the plan accomplishes this is with a compact form of development, an end to planning for car dependency, and a focus on attainable and affordable housing for all income levels in all of Montgomery County. No longer are certain exclusive neighborhoods of single-family homes or certain towns in certain parts of the county off limits to new housing. We will no longer be wedded to past ideas of land use. I urge you to support the plan and to think even more boldly about a more inclusive, sustainable future for our county. Thank you for this opportunity to testify in favor of Thrive 2050.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Betsy Mendelson. Ms. Mendelson, you have 2 minutes for your testimony.
Hi neighbors, my name is Betsy Mendelson. My family bought a house in downtown Silver Spring in 2015. We had moved to Washington, D.C. in 1999, so we've witnessed this neighborhood springing. As your neighbors, we love the many small businesses and transit options that a dense and diverse neighborhood provides. So I'm in favor of Thrive 2050. As an academic historian, I have studied law, infrastructure, geography, environmental quality, and all the changes that occur over many decades in changing, urbanizing environments. I know that cities built their first municipal garbage stations in the poorest neighborhoods and built their first public housing at sites with a very long journey to work. My dad had a long journey to work when his young family was living in Boston. I know that urban infrastructure and zoning laws typically have supported the interests of only a slice of society. And I know that my current neighborhood was a sundown suburb. Also, as an historian, it's easy to criticize the infrastructure and zoning rules made in the past as exclusionary and economically regressive. Much of our current built environment is the bricks and mortar legacy of old public laws and policies that would not be enacted today. I recognize that Thrive 2050 intends to correct this legacy. Education efforts around Thrive 2050 ought to put people and their quality of life at its center. In championing density development, education efforts ought to reveal the economically regressive practice of preserving single-family homes close to transit and other public infrastructure. In promoting affordable housing, these efforts ought to vividly describe long commutes by bus for our poorest neighbors. And these efforts ought to reveal the far greater energy and public infrastructure use of single-family homes relative to denser housing. One thing true of private property is that owners' rights have been limited by their responsibilities to the broader society. I say this as a legal historian. Private property rights have not been immutable because society's needs have changed over time. I frankly hope that county residents come to value their neighbors, all of their neighbors, more than the current structure of their neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Alan Bowser. Mr. Bowser, you have 2 minutes. You may begin when you're ready.
There we go. My name is Alan Bowser, and I'm the president of the Montgomery County Civic Federation. The association members of the MCCF represent over 150,000 households from civic associations and homeowners associations across the county. Thank you, Council President Hooker and members of the Montgomery County Council for this opportunity to provide testimony on the Thrive 2050 draft plan on behalf of the Federation. Before I continue, on behalf of the Civic Federation, we want to thank you, the County Council, the County Executive, Dr. Gales, and Dr. Kroll, for your inspired leadership during the coronavirus pandemic. The Civic Federation has not yet taken a formal position on the Thrive 2050 draft plan, but we expect to do so in the fall of this year. We have, however, considered and taken a position on the process by which the draft plan has been developed by the Planning Department. On September 14th of last year, the Civic Federation expressed the view that the COVID-19 emergency had imposed significant limitations on the ability of county residents to fully participate in the plan's development, and further that the timetable announced for the design, finalization, and approval of the proposed plan without sufficient and meaningful public consultation input was not reasonable and not suitable for a legitimate community process in which residents can take ownership of the final plan. Mr. President, the reason we have not taken a final position on the Thrive draft is because the plan has changed with several versions and changing emphasis since it's been available for public comment. The draft plan that I testified at the public that the planning board's public hearing is not the draft that is before you for your consideration and hopefully for your improvement. I can say, having been involved in many of the community discussions about the draft plan, that there is considerable confusion and a widespread lack of understanding of the plan among community members across Montgomery County. And to a large extent, this confusion and lack of support derives from confusing and surprising messages from the planning board, its staff, and the county council. Of course, residents of the county are confused. This confusion has caused municipalities and civic associations to expend countless hours trying to understand the goals of the county housing policy, the underlying issues, and the changing timelines, and to craft their own strategies to respond to the board and the council's actions and educate their constituents and neighbors. Therefore, we associate ourselves with the Montgomery County Executive's comments transmitted to the council president on June 10th. We agree that residents are confused and inadequately informed. And like the county executive, we request the county council separate these two projects and ask the planning board to stop work on the elaborate rezoning proposal.
Mr. Bowser, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Your time is up. I'm so sorry, Mr. Bowser. Your time is up. Thank you for your testimony, though. Our next speaker this evening is Dan Reed. Mr. Reed, you have 2 minutes for your testimony, and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Dan Reed, and my partner and I live and work in Silver Spring. I am vice president of the East Silver Spring Citizens Association, but I am speaking for myself. I'm here to support the draft Thrive 2050 plan. I grew up here. My mother came here after emigrating from the Caribbean. My dad came here after moving from North Carolina. People come here and they do amazing things. Our county made headlines twice this month. Once for Novavax's successful trial of a COVID vaccine, again because some scientists here think they found a cure for AIDS. We want people to come here to build lives and careers and families, to take part in our prosperity and make it even better. 50 years ago, the general plan laid out a vision for doing just that, but it also locked into place a pattern of exclusion and sprawl. And today we're seeing the consequences: segregated schools and neighborhoods, growing commutes, stagnant incomes, and a chronic housing shortage leading to skyrocketing prices. Somebody earlier said young people don't want to live here, so we don't need more homes. Tell that to my friends and family who want to stay but have to leave the county or the region because they can't afford it, and that is a loss. The Thrive Plan lays out a vision for how we can fix this. A big part of it is we need more homes of all types, all price ranges, in all parts of the county, close to jobs and transit and education and healthcare and friends and family. This will involve changing the way neighborhoods look, but we're not the rich white bedroom community we were in 1964, so why shouldn't they change? This county says we care about diversity and equity and climate change, so let's start actually doing something about it. Let's make this a place where people can come and choose to come here again, instead of a gated community for those lucky enough to be here already. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker will be Amy Ginsburg. Ms. Ginsburg, you have 2 minutes. You may begin when you're ready.
Good evening. I'm Amy Ginsburg, Executive Director of Friends of White Flint, a nonprofit devoted to transforming the Pike District, North Bethesda area into a walkable, transit-oriented, thriving community. If you think that sounds like the goal of Thrive Montgomery, you're right. Much of the Thrive Montgomery plan matches the goals of the two White Flint sector plans, and we applaud its focus on sustainable growth, development, and urbanism. We agree wholeheartedly with the major objective of this plan: to ensure a vibrant, strong, and competitive economy by attracting and maintaining major employers, enhancing our federal campuses, supporting small businesses and innovation, and attracting and retaining a high-quality, diverse workforce. It is essential to recognize that attracting high-quality jobs to areas like the Pike District is the key to transforming North Bethesda and other areas of the county. We also support the plan's emphasis on achieving Vision Zero, developing a robust network for walking and biking, and utilizing parks as gathering spaces for social connection. As Thrive Montgomery proposes, planning for people, not cars, is the key to redeveloping the Pike District and the county. Being able to easily walk or bike to meet most daily needs creates dynamic centers that contain many different types of housing and high-quality jobs, as well as the shops, restaurants, parks, and other amenities that are vital to a community like the Pike District. We support the Thrive Montgomery plan because it matches the goals of the White Flint sector plans, creating diverse living spaces, enhancing social interaction, and attracting the high-quality jobs, which are the foundation of a thriving community and a good life. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Joe Gillespie. Mr. Gillespie, you also have 2 minutes. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Joe Gillespie, no relation to the other Gillespie I saw on the speaker list. I live and work in North Bethesda, and the council should approve the Thrive Montgomery 2050 plan. I chose to move to this area about 4 years ago after traveling here often for work over about 10 years. I love living in Montgomery County. I love my neighbors at Grosvenor Park. I love that my bilingual children get to see and interact with people who moved here from all over the world. I love our parks and our libraries. I love the restaurants. I love taking the metro. But like everyone, I have worries. I worry all the time that my kids are going to get run over when we go to preschool, when we have to walk next to Rockville Pike. I worry about how much time I spend in the car. I worry that the county fundamentally values abundant parking over abundant housing opportunities for my children when they grow up. But when I read the Thrive 2050 plan, I see a framework to help address these worries. I see a plan that focuses on promoting strong bonds and improving the environment that we live in. I see a plan to help make life safer and more enjoyable for my children, and maybe even one day my grandchildren. I see a plan on how we can help make homes more affordable and encourage active transportation. And I commend the work that was done to lay out a vision of how this county can become a leading example on achieving people-focused urban and suburban living. Accordingly, I urge the council to approve this plan and to aggressively take action to implement it to make up for lost time. I believe it represents a strong step forward in improving the quality of life for people in this county. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Bruce Lawson. Mr. Lawson, you have 2 minutes. You may begin. I think we just need you to unmute your microphone. I see you there, but we don't hear you. Mr. Lawson, are you there? We're going to move to the next speaker, Julie Davis. Mr. Lawson will come back to you after her and see if you've been able to fix your technical problem. So, Ms. Davis, you may begin. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, good evening, everybody. For the record, my name is Julie Davis, and I live at 5610 Wisconsin Avenue in Friendship Heights. Preliminarily, I'd like to state that I fully support the testimony this evening from representatives of the Thrive Montgomery 2050 Neighborhood Coalition and the Coordinating Committee on Friendship Heights. I especially support their comments regarding the county's need to prioritize affordable housing over market rate, so-called attainable housing, which as a practical matter and financial matter will be unaffordable by most of the county residents who need and want housing. For a 30-year general plan, which is supposedly intended to achieve racial justice and equity in future housing policies, the failure of the Thrive Plan to focus on and provide meaningful, specific strategies for increasing the amount of affordable housing in the county is beyond inexplicable. But my testimony tonight focuses on another critical element of future housing policies that's missing in the plan: the need for new zoning provisions to implement the plan that ensure that any and all family housing types, multifamily housing types, whether attainable or missing middle housing, are compatible with the existing homes in the neighborhoods in which they would be located. These housing types, which include duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and townhouses, would be allowed in the draft Thrive Plan by right in single-family neighborhoods located in growth areas designated by the plan, which basically include most of the down county. It's noteworthy that the Planning Board's 2018 Missing Middle Housing Study recognized that removing all restrictions on housing structure types and allowing by right family units in R60 and R90 neighborhoods could generate community resistance on compatibility grounds. But the Thrive Plan, however, the Thrive Plan explicitly rejects any future consideration in the county's housing policies of what the plan describes as, quote, vague compatibility concepts. Instead, it recommends one-size-fits-all housing by right pattern books to be created by the planning board staff and/or consultants.
Ms. Davis, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your time is up. Thank you very much for your testimony this evening. Mr. Lawson, have you been able to remedy your technical issue? I see your mouth moving, but we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. There you
Okay,
go.
Great, thank you. My name is Bruce, and I'm from the Woodside community. The missing middle housing concept has captured the imaginations of social justice, zoning activists, planning professionals, politicians, government officials, and well-meaning citizens who seek to create a more just and inclusive society and community. Some activists, unfortunately, have wrongly used race-mongering tactics to intimidate, silence, and justify the forceful proposed rezoning of Woodside. And contrary to the organized, loud, funded activist claims, Woodside is not a rich, white-only, racially exclusive gated community trying to keep out people of color that deserves racial revenge, including my mixed-race family. My wife and I counted 15 minority homeowners or co-owners within one block of our home, including the target adjacent community. There are appropriate and inappropriate locations to test the missing middle housing idea. We ask that the council, planning board, and planning staff work with Woodside and other civic associations to select appropriate missing middle locations without destroying historic neighborhoods and active, established, cohesive communities. It deeply troubles me, my family, and other community members that some of our government employees and elected officials have assumed that the rezoning of the adjacent community is a done deal and that we should just quietly acquiesce and accept it as a done deal. Most citizens, including minority members, and particularly those with families and extended families, aspire to own a single-family home if they can afford it. We should not punish single-family homeowners, nor should they have to fear that our neighborhoods and communities will forever be changed because of untested ideas. There's plenty of room in the county for both urbanists and suburbanists. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is David Foreman. Mr. Foreman, you have 2 minutes for your testimony.
I am David Foreman. I'm David Foreman, chair of the Citizens Coordinating Committee on Friendship Heights, a coalition of 21 neighborhood organizations. More than 20,000 voters live in the neighborhoods that we represent. More than a year ago, we wrote to the council asking that the Thrive process be slowed down. We wrote again twice with the same request. There were, and still are, compelling reasons to slow down work on Thrive Montgomery. First, you are all well aware of the major disruptions COVID-19 has caused. The current draft relies on pre-pandemic data and assumptions, yet we may be facing permanent changes in how we live, spend, work, commute, study, and play. When the future is so unpredictable, it makes little sense to rely on current assumptions to plan for the next 30 years. Second, there's been insufficient public input. For example, these 2-minute statements are hardly sufficient input given the complexities of the issues in Thrive. Although we can submit written testimony, it is telling that we have received no reasoned responses, usually no response at all, to the many letters we have written or joined in that discussed in detail serious questions and issues. Third, we have doubts and strong objections to certain specific aspects of the plan itself. These deserve detailed back and forth public debate, which has been lacking. Please rethink the Montgomery County General Plan so that we don't end up with a blueprint based on assumptions that lead to destructive policy decisions and counterproductive allocation of resources.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Our next speaker this evening is Allison Gillespie. Ms. Gillespie, you have 2 minutes for your testimony.
Good evening. I live in the Forest Glen neighborhood of Silver Spring. Thanks for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm a huge parks volunteer and advocate here in Montgomery County, and I spend most of my free time riding and hiking the county's trails. For more than a decade, I volunteered with one of the county's nature centers and served many environmental organizations too. It is my love of parks that has prompted me to focus my comments tonight on environmental topics in Thrive 2050. This plan does a really great job of addressing and embracing our urban identity. In the past, it seemed that much of our municipal planning sought to avoid or ameliorate urbanization, and saying the county was urban was saying something taboo that made people wince. But this plan is exciting because it embraces the many ways we can improve life for everyone here if we are honest about the fact that we are a county that largely lives in urban and city spaces. Thrive seeks to stop sprawl and unchecked encroachment into our precious natural areas such as farms and forests by supporting better housing policy and being inclusive of multifamily options. Anything that goes beyond single-family homes only mentality will be a great benefit to all who live here. We need more places for people to live, and we need to undo racist zoning past that encouraged hate and segregation. I want us to redouble our efforts to make this a fully transit-oriented community and see that supported in the pages of the Thrive report. And I see that supported in the pages of the Thrive report. But we can't just create boxes for people to live in. We have to create livable communities. And I really like what this plan has to say about parks. It supports great parks and urban centers, as well as supporting the Ag Reserve and amazing huge parks like Little Bennett. By providing green space within 15 minutes of every citizen, we can reduce a lot of car trips that go from playing soccer or hikes, for instance. If people have lovely, safe green spaces outdoors to relax anytime they crave nature, they're less likely to want to buy a house in a new development far from the city where they work. I do regret that this report did not include a chapter specifically about the environment. I will say it outright. I thought our county's executive recent climate plan was poorly written and missed the mark in many ways. But this plan, we could own it and think big. We need to be incorporating the environment in a much bigger way. And I do fear that sprinkling environmental topics throughout doesn't address the needs of urban, rural, suburban areas, public and private spaces.
Ms. Gillespie, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your time is up. Thank you very much.
That's fine.
For your
Thank you.
testimony this evening. Our next speaker tonight is Mary Kohler. Ms. Kohler, you have 2 minutes. You may begin. Mary Kohler, are you there? I see you in the queue. Can you unmute and begin your testimony?
Good evening. Sorry about that. I was having trouble unmuting. Good evening. My name is Mary Kohler, and I'm testifying on behalf of Montgomery Housing Alliance. MHA strongly supports the proposed draft of Thrive Montgomery 2050, especially its recognition of the need for increased housing development and affordability. We do, however, feel that Thrive can take an even stronger position on housing issues to ensure that into the future, Montgomery County neighborhoods are affordable to households of all incomes, including those with the lowest incomes. As you know, the need for affordable housing in Montgomery County is acute and is projected to increase. In 2018, the county estimated a gap of 48,000 units affordable to households with incomes at or below 50% of the area median income. And between 2020 and 2040, this gap is projected to grow. We are pleased to see increased support for existing housing programs like the MPDU program and the Housing Initiative Fund included in Thrive, but feel it is critical for Thrive to include more explicit messaging around subsidized housing and around meeting the housing need of those with the lowest incomes, including through expansion of shelter space, permanent supportive housing, and rental assistance programs. We also support the call for reform of single-family zoning. It is crucial to expand the range of housing types to meet diverse needs and foster a diverse population. It is important to ensure that households of all incomes can afford homes in all parts of the county. Thrive presents an opportunity to reform single-family zoning in predominantly white high-income areas, a necessary step towards undoing policies that have perpetuated racial and economic segregation in our region. Toward this end, we encourage socioeconomic integration to be more explicitly included in the vision Thrive articulates. Again, we are pleased to see the attention Thrive gives to housing development and affordability and feel that with an expanded focus on subsidized housing and meeting the housing needs of those with the lowest incomes, it will be an even stronger blueprint for the county's future. Thank you for the opportunity to provide input.
Thank you for your testimony this evening. Our next speaker tonight is Harry Full. Mr. Full, you have 2 minutes for your testimony. You may begin.
Council President Hooker and council members, thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Harry Full. I live in Sumner Village and I'm testifying as an individual. I have a series of questions. Transportation is key to economic development. 1, the plan proposes to inhibit and suppress the use of cars. It is intended that public transit will replace the auto. Economic development, business growth, and business tax revenue, however, is anemic. The county is strapped for cash. Given the huge setup and operational cost of large increases in public transit, how will the county pay for the transit improvements? 2, if major improvement in public transit is unaffordable, how will increasing bicycle and pedestrian pathways while at the same time suppressing auto usage affect economic development? How will this affect the hope for business revenue increase from hope for business growth? 3, improvement of transportation between eastern and western sectors of the county is essential to improve equity between the two. The plan will inhibit and suppress the usage of cars. What effect will choking automobile usage have on achieving equity for the eastern county when economic development is poor and the county is strapped for funds for significantly increased transit? Will this make the inequities worse? What is feasible to achieve when revenues are limited? What are the priorities? Doesn't economic development, jobs, and business tax revenue underlie all of the aspirations of this plan, however noble they may be? Forecasting the future is fundamental to planning. Forecasting the future during this wretched time is impossible. How good is a plan that relies on bad forecasts to set policy for the next 30 years? While elements of the plan make sense, is the plan as a whole economically practical, or is it utopian? You have to get through the short term to get to the long term. If it's utopian, it is unrealistic. Is it wise to adopt a plan that is unrealistic? Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Carrie Lamari. Mr. Lamari, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. It is outrageous that our county council would even allow such an incomplete special interest giveaway to developers to the detriment of the health, safety, and welfare of the public. It is clearly not comprehensive and does not address the environment and our commitment to reduce our carbon footprint, or how to cope with the falling job growth, which has been plaguing our county for over a decade. Thrive Montgomery is a misnomer. It contradicts its stated goals of diversity and equitable solutions to affordability and thriving, cohesive communities. This plan dismantles neighborhood compatibility, diversity, and cohesion, which these communities have spent 60 years building. It is important to recognize these communities built their neighborhoods. This plan dissolves our neighborhoods with sweeping changes using words like complete and compact communities. This plan does not consider major impediments which exist today. It ignores the deleterious effects of the overdensification of the past, which has led to neighborhood flooding, contamination of our streams, waterways, drinking water. This plan does not consider major aging infrastructure needs, which today are overburdened. This plan exacerbates these impacts. The plan speaks to affordability, yet it displaces tens of thousands of hardworking families which are in need and currently live along these corridors. This plan chooses to create gentrification and divide communities. On the east side of our county, this plan does not give substantive solutions to our growing problems with overcrowded schools, low SAT scores, which must be noted, Kennedy High School has the lowest achievement scores in the county, as it's stated in Thrive Montgomery. This plan does not offer solutions to the challenges of these schools, such as high ESOL populations, farm rates, mobility rate. Yet the plan proposes to exacerbate these challenges with over a doubling of the density along our major corridors and activity centers. The plan ignores the realities of commuting and climate change, which is causing extensive storms beyond the one-year storm, which is the minimum review and mitigation required for development.
Mr. Lamari, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but your time is up. Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next speaker this evening is Joan Beerweiler. Ms. Beerweiler, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Just a moment. Oh, I have to start my video. Just a moment.
No problem. There you go.
Oh, okay. I'm Joan Beerweiler, representing the Aspen Hill Community Organization. The County Council should not approve this plan. County planning is not one size fits all. Different neighborhoods have different challenges. The county executive recommends looking into small area planning, or we could go back to area master plans as was used in the past. The one size fits all of Thrive does not work. We recommend small area planning or going back to area master plans. It is deplorable that council members move forward with zoning text amendments without first passing Thrive. The county executive wrote, and I quote, "This suggests a predetermined outcome." I repeat, a predetermined outcome before the public has ever been able to offer testimony about the Thrive plan, end quote. This is a county council giveaway to developers. The public loses out. It is the taxpayers who will have to pay the bill for increased infrastructure and overcrowded schools. What about jobs and economic development? Where are the 200,000 new residents going to work? What about affordable or attainable housing? In the beginning, this was about creating affordable housing. Once council members found missing middle housing would not be affordable, they simply changed the name to attainable, but did nothing to make it affordable or attainable. What about equity? This started out as not only affordable, but also providing equity. Now we find minorities will again be squeezed out because it is not affordable. In fact, new missing middle housing units will be very expensive. There is a great chance for displacement and gentrification, particularly in certain areas. Our narrow neighborhood streets here in Aspen Hill will be jammed with parked cars and other vehicles, trucks, and increased traffic.
Ms. Beerweiler, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your time is up. Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Roberta Fall Zitler. Ms. Fall Zitler, you may begin your testimony.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. My name's Roberta Fall Zitler, and I live at 8904 Colesville Road in Woodside Park. My neighbors say they know very little about the Thrive Montgomery 2050 plan, and it's no surprise after a year-long lockdown. This, to my mind, is not civic engagement. It has been an anomalous process to normal community dialogue and input. TM 2050 has flaws that can and should be addressed. A much-needed section on economic development was removed from the draft. We need a real game plan for jobs creation and improving the tax base. Neighborhood compatibility standards need to be retained and improved, not eliminated. The county should continue to use master and sector planning processes to specify zoning changes, not a one-size-fits-all. There have to be quantifiable, enforceable limits to control aggregation of land by frontmen, developers, and real estate companies. Let's look at land hiding in plain sight close to transit for a wide range of affordable housing. The White Oak development area, 300 acres of blank canvas waiting for development. The Silver Spring downtown has 16 million square feet of development capacity remaining. The parking district, which we should get rid of, has 12.5 acres of land area for residential uses. There are 33,000 housing units in the county already approved but not built. If you're serious about resolving inequity, I suggest looking at the Philadelphia Accelerator Fund, a public-private partnership designed to provide funds to minority developers facing systemic barriers to traditional bank financing, with a goal of $100 million by the end of 2021. Let's get back to work and rework this plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Judith Maguire. Ms. Maguire, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My name is Judy Maguire. I'm from Chevy Chase, apparently the source of all evil. I agree with the lofty goals of improving social and economic equity and environmental sustainability, but Thrive 2050 won't get us there. I agree with the county executive's comments, particularly about the rush-through nature of Thrive and the recent development of the Attainable Housing Strategy and ZTA 2007 and inadequate community input. I'm concerned that two major issues are completely absent from Thrive: public safety and public schools, which make neighborhoods attractive. Instead, Thrive devotes excessive attention to architecture, and there's the complete lack of an environmental sustainability strategy. I appreciate the honest assessment of where previous general plans favored the Western County and neglected Eastern County. Righting this wrong should be the highest priority of this plan, but it's not obviously prioritized. Enhancing the quality of life in Eastern County should be among the first things to do, including making its schools among the best in the county. I'm concerned this plan doesn't take into account the massive changes taking place in technology. In transportation, for instance, I'm confident that driverless and customizable public buses will be available in the next decade. Instead, Thrive focused almost entirely on rail transit, which will soon be obsolete. I'd like to close with some thoughts on housing. It excessively emphasizes home ownership and favors big developers. In a highly mobile workforce, home ownership is actually a drag on economic progress. Rental units should be emphasized much more. And it's pretty obvious to me that zoning changes in the free market won't solve the housing problem. Relying on big developers won't get us affordable housing. And the so-called new optional method of development is transparently a gift to large developers. And so they'll build a paltry number of affordable units in exchange for relief from all the building controls that affect scale, sense of place, and the environment. I'd like to see more emphasis on owner-occupied rental properties. Owner-occupied multifamily units could be an opportunity for small minority-owned business development and enable people who labor in the building trades to become entrepreneurs and homeowners with a steady rental income.
Ms. Maguire, pardon me, Ms. Maguire, your time is up, but thank you so much for your testimony tonight. Our next speaker this evening is Tamara Leonard. Ms. Leonard, you have 2 minutes and you may begin when you're ready.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Leonard. My family and I bought our first house in the town of Chevy Chase in 2019 after many years of living on Capitol Hill. Recently, I became aware of the draft Thrive Montgomery General Plan. I've tried hard to follow the ongoing process, but it hasn't been easy. It's important, of course, that constituents have all the information they need to make up their minds. I don't believe they do. That's why the council should slow the process down and reach consensus on the plan before developing initiatives such as the Attainable Housing Initiative or the 2 zoning text amendments. It is admirable that the draft plan seeks to address issues of racial and socioeconomic equity, affordable housing, and improved environmental practices. But so far, I'm not convinced that the plan will actually serve those important goals. The general plan should be more concrete about the desired results and more specific about what measures are needed to get there. Key concepts in the plan, such as complete communities, are not defined, nor does the plan clearly state which existing communities are considered complete and what will happen to those that are not. The plan should address the need to avoid fragmenting and disrupting existing neighborhoods. The plan should include the concept of compatibility as a key requirement to guide ideas for change. The draft general plan talks about increasing density and efficient use of land, which I understand to include redevelopment of single-family neighborhoods. The implementation measures that have been proposed are very drastic. It seems only a matter of time before these neighborhoods are eliminated. You can imagine why people who like living where they live would be concerned. I hope that the council will consider a range of mechanisms strictly tailored to concrete and narrow goals, focusing neighborhood by neighborhood. It seems that the measures being contemplated in Montgomery County go far beyond what has been enacted elsewhere, and even in other communities, no one knows whether such initiatives have actually worked. And I'm talking about the various up-zoning ideas. duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes. What's needed is a focus on solutions and mechanisms that have actually worked in other communities to create more housing, especially at the affordable end of the spectrum. For now, while I wish—
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but your time is also up. Thank you very much for your testimony. Our next speaker tonight is Ben Keel. Mr. Keel, you have 2 minutes. You may begin as soon as you're ready.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Ben Keel. I'm in downtown Silver Spring. I'm a renter here, recently in a group home east of Silver Spring, and then I just moved into one of these tall apartment buildings near downtown with my fiance. I support the direction of Thrive 2050, and I'm excited about a couple things. I think first, I appreciate that there is a large focus on attainable housing in the many forms it can take, like in the nice illustrations and diagrams that I've seen in your community meeting presentations. You recognize the issues of the county's current market with rising prices and stagnant wage growths, which I appreciate. I also appreciate that you're considering the exclusionary nature of single-family houses, at least in what they've been in the past and where the market is currently leading. I've seen this personally in my old street east of Silver Spring. It's been quite diverse on that street socioeconomically with a mix of backgrounds, a mix of renters and owners. But with each house that gets torn down, and there have been a few, in its place comes a larger, more expensive house with wealthier residents moving in. These changes signal who can afford what we're living in locally. And I appreciate that the evidence that I've seen and read about at large is reflected in these reports. And I like to see that socioeconomic integration in these communities explicitly mentioned more in the general plan. I'm also excited that a tool that you're considering is more income restricted below market housing, because even if there's plenty of development, the market is moving too slowly to meet the demands of citizens who need affordable housing the most, meet the needs, I should say. I'd like to see more specifics on how you can create affordable housing to citizens who have the lowest incomes, because I volunteer a lot in DC, where there's been about a 30,000 household gap between the lowest income families that live there and the number of affordable units and subsidies available to them. As a neighbor to DC, I want to see more strategies that show how Montgomery County can be a helpful neighbor and an attractive spot that families can come with a plan for a brighter future. So I'm grateful for all the hard work that you've done so far in making the general plan. And given time, I'm eager to see what we can do to help our citizens most in need. Thanks.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker will be Daniel Marson. Mr. Marson, you may begin your testimony when you're ready. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Daniel Marson. I live at 1910 Westchester Drive in Wheaton. And I'm an economist, and I know a lot of people think that that looks kind of like this, so I'm just going to embrace it. And over here is my testimony to remind myself. First thing, yes, I love the plan. Let's do it. Number two, there's been enough planning. Bicycle master plan, pedestrian master plan, sector plan for every different place. Not seeing a whole lot of action. I understand there's a lot of things to do. It's hard to be a council member. I get it. There's a lot of competing interests, but let's take the plan and do the things in the plan and not just adopt the plan. Number three, let's protect competition. So we should try to, whenever possible, create a zoning code or some kind of local regulations that can be understood by people who aren't necessarily experts. So it would help to protect small competitors if we could have clear zoning codes that people could look up and understand and not have to hire an expensive lawyer. And it's the end of the night, so I'm going to be brief. Thank you to everybody who's listening, and thank you to everybody who called in, pro and con, but thank you more to the people who were pro. All right, have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker tonight is Marilyn Quinn. Ms. Quinn, you have 2 minutes, and you may begin as soon as you're ready.
Thank you. My name is Marilyn Quinn, and with me is Edgar Teal, my nephew, who lives with me part-time. And the rest of the time, he's in Los Angeles, so he knows about urban sprawl. The Thrive Plan is setting the stage. It has lofty goals, but it doesn't get us what we need. Here's what voters like me are going to want to know next June. I mean, next year, 2022. Who helped those who were evicted post-COVID? Or who paved the way for $800,000 townhouses? Who put developers before the taxpayers? As Barney Rush, Alan Bowser, and others noted, we need a process with active engagement from the community, especially when the plans keep changing, whether it's Thrive, Heat, or Attainable plans.
We do not yet know what post-COVID housing needs there will be. We know we need affordable housing as soon as possible. How do you pronounce that?
Thrive.
Thrive does not prioritize affordable housing. So do we help those in Montgomery County who need the help most, or do we push new market rate housing and push for tearing down closed-in housing?
Finally, do not tear down our neighborhoods by allowing corridors of by right development. It just means poor planning, money for developers, and high rents for tenants. Voters know your choice, and it's a tough one, but your choice is between keeping oversight or catering to developers and their campaign money. Please continue to have the good of the county your first priority, and affordable housing your first priority. Thank you.
Thank you both. Mr. President, that wraps up the testimony for tonight's public hearing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Kennedy. This public hearing is now closed. Thank you all for your feedback tonight. We very much appreciate your input. The second public hearing on this topic will be held on Tuesday, June 29th at 7 p.m. Have a great night, everyone. We are adjourned.
It's not that difficult, but we are not going in the right directions. I want to compliment Mr. Holland. Now I call him Captain Zero, because I know he's highly intelligent, dedicated, and passionate about traffic safety. But more importantly, he's young, because we're talking about the next 10 years, 20